Part 2 of Nut and Fancy, talking about large to extra large sized internal frame packs. I'm using my own Mountainsmith Expanse 5800 cubic inch backpack as a reference point in this category. And that's 95 liters for my friends in Europe. So yeah, it's a big pack. But I left off in part 1 talking about it may be big, but in a way the size rating on an internal pack is somewhat misleading. Or better said, the size rating on an external frame pack is misleading. Kind of like that Kelty Super Tioga. That thing was showing 4,700, 4,750 cubic inches. But like I showed you, it has capabilities to lash all kinds of gear to the exterior of that backpack, including your tent, which does not take up the internal volume of the pack bag. However, with an internal frame, everything's got to go inside. Not everything, but most everything. As you can see, I have my Cat's Meow North Face synthetic bag on the very bottom, and then I've got my sleeping pad, Thermarest variety, right above it. By the way, let's look how they attach. They have 2 pack straps on the bottom of the pack bag, like so. And if I was to do this smart, and I've learned this from experience, I would route these straps through the backpack through the sleeping bag straps. The reason I say that is because as you hike, it's real easy for this to get pushed sideways and have that sleeping bag come popping out the side. You may not even know it. Your buddies will know it because they'll say, dude, you just lost your sleeping bag. So you want to anchor it better. I was hurrying when I put it on, but I'd actually route that under here so these straps would catch that sleeping bag moving side to side. The sleep pad is a little bit different because it's so long. It anchors and compresses enough. You see how that compresses? It locks it into place so it won't slide. But that little short sleeping bag is a different story. You remember when I talked about the Kelty Super Tioga review, I talked about how it's really nice to have an external frame to anchor on the bottom when you take your rest breaks. Here we are with an internal frame, an outstanding one, by the way. I think the Mountainsmith brand of internal frame packs are some of the best of the breed. Durability and features wise, they're just excellent. However, notice that we don't have an external frame anymore. When we take our rest breaks, guess what's going to be taking the brunt of that rock that we're sitting on? You guessed it, your sleeping bag. There's no external frame to rest. Yet another disadvantage of the internal frame design. And you guys may say, well, I put my sleeping bag inside the pack bag. Well, if you do that, then you just took up even more volume on the internal portion of your internal pack, leaving less room for cookware, clothing, food, emergency supplies. So no, I put mine on the exterior, and I make sure that, like on this Expanse, I have a way to do that built in from the factory. And thank you very much, Mountainsmith did that. They give you straps to do that built in. But the downside is, yeah, that thing's going to get a certain amount of wear on it, so you're going to have to be careful. Not a showstopper, but yeah, it's a consideration, definitely. So no, you're not going to be able to take everything you may want to take when you decide to go internal frame. Now, on the exterior of this, going back to versatility, they do have an ice axe carrier. I don't know why they put this on every backpack, but it seems like they think everybody's going to go ice climbing. The way this would work is you put your ice head through that, twist it with a handle going up through here, through this daisy chain, and use your bungees to secure it. You could also use 550 cord from, this is called a daisy chain. You don't actually have to use that for an ice axe. You could actually, if you're in rugged terrain again, use that for your hiking poles. Put your hiking poles in here, twist it, anchor it up through there. Or anything long and slender that you'd have to anchor and you would not want to carry. And yes, I could use this for other things. You see right here I have my sitting pad, as I reviewed in my 8-part series. I always take one of those with me, and that's a convenient way to carry it. But again, you just don't have a lashing capability. You may say, well, dude, why don't you just put your tent out here? Don't do that. This is an internal frame backpack. The whole purpose of taking something like this is for increased balance and higher mobility when you're going into backcountry. And yes, they do provide that. But if I strap my tent to the back here, I just threw off my entire balance of the pack. That's not where you want it. And there's a specific way to pack internal frame packs. Just Google it. You'll find all kinds of information about how to pack an internal frame pack. You know, where to put your heavy things, where to put your light things. Generally the heaviest, if I'm not mistaken, goes right against your back. But I find that's really hard to adhere to, that packing method, because I have a wide variety of things. You know, I try my best to adhere to it, but I'm not always able to do it. But definitely don't pack something heavy externally on your internal frame. It just defeats the whole purpose to take it. If you're going to do that, just get an external frame. The whole purpose is to increase mobility. How about suspension? Next talking point. And we'll probably come back to versatility and features, as I probably forgot something. Well, I already talked about how an internal frame works for the newbies. By the way, I love that haul loop there. That's the way to take and maneuver that backpack. And when this thing is, let me just say this real quick since it just came to mind. When this thing's loaded, and again, I don't have this loaded up with a lot of weight, just a lot of bulk for representation, what it looks like when it's loaded. But this thing is like a fat worm when it's hauling 80 pounds. And it's hard to maneuver. It's not like an external frame that's really easy to balance. You can lean against a tree. This thing it just kind of wants to roll everywhere. You know, it doesn't have a frame to stabilize it on the bottom. Just like I was telling you. It's roly-poly, and that's another disadvantage of an internal frame. When it's loaded, it's kind of ungainly until you get on your back. When you get on your back, hey, rock on, you're ready to go. By the way, I'm talking about large internal frames, this size you're looking at. You know, I'll do a separate review on medium size, which is a whole different ball game. But I'm talking multi-day trips using an internal frame. Back to the suspension. This Mountainsmith model, how does it work? Well, this actually is a separate compartment up here. I'm sorry, I guess I could count that as another pocket. It's not really a pocket, it's kind of a top layer, and you can detach that and use it as a lumbar pack with the straps included. Never have done that, but you could. It has a zipper here, and yes, it holds a lot of cool stuff. I actually put my fleece jacket and stuff up there once it gets, you know, just so it's readily accessible. Maybe my first aid kit would go here. Variety of stuff. But then you can see it has a cinch down using Fastex buckles. This isn't really part of suspension, but I wanted to show you that. And then here's your shoulder straps. Outstanding shoulder straps on this Expanse. And they have like cambrel material. It's that mesh that breathes, helps your sweat, you know, evaporate. By the way, there's my camera strap, or my camera case, anchored to the right shoulder strap. My GPS Garmin 60CX anchored to the left. And I like that the shoulder straps are thinner than the Tiogas, and they're no less comfortable. But being thinner in width makes it easier to attach my, you know, my pouches to. How's a sweat management concept on an internal frame? And yes, again, I know there's a lot of different varieties of the way the manufacturers attack this. In this specific model of Mountainsmith, what they've attempted to do is to create an open airspace here with these lumbar pads, and hopefully your sweat will evaporate out of them. And also they've mesh covered it, which is nice. The whole back panel is padded, synthetic. But in my experience, this whole thing's going to be drenched with sweat. You can do what you want, but unless you get that pack bag away from your body, you're going to be sweating. And it's not going to be as comfortable as an external frame in the sweat department. Here's the lumbar pad. Actually, this is more shoulder blade area. Here's your lumbar pad, and this would hopefully get that pack bag away from your back. But when I hike with this thing's just drenched with sweat. It's just the way it is. It's not super uncomfortable. It's just, you know, it's just different than an external frame. Here's your sternum strap. That's obligatory. Here's your load stabilizing straps. Always use those. I showed you in the Kelty Super Tioga review of how you can stabilize those if they loosen up on you. Also, the instructions with your backpack will also tell you what the importance is of adjusting these. I find as they came from the factory, they were fine with me. I didn't have to go up and down with this Fastex buckle. How's the waist belt? And that's probably one of the most important suspension features on a backpack. Very comfortable, very durable too. They use a really high density foam, which I like. I like that high density foam. I find it's very comfortable. We want to situate this with our hip bone right about in the middle of the belt, and like I've told you guys before, it's your hips that's carrying your weight, not your shoulder straps. If your shoulder straps carrying most of the weight, you've got your pack maladjusted, misadjusted. You need to really tighten that waist belt up so the weight is on your hips. And this is a perfect waist belt to do it. Nice Fastex buckle. I've never had any failures with that. And then it's double adjusted with another quick sliding Fastex buckle. Excellent. Then you have some more load adjusting straps, and every design will be a little bit different in how it executes this. And it's not always necessary, but I'll take this because what this does, especially with an internal frame where my balance is very critical and I might want to adjust the pack bag in different ways, straps like this allow you to do that. Maybe it's too close to your body as you're descending or ascending, and I can just come here with my thumb and pop this, and it'll loosen that strap a little bit and kind of might even create some more airspace back there so it'll evaporate the sweat. So this is an excellent suspension system. I think if you buy a major brand of internal frame backpack, you probably won't have a lot of issues with it. And I could be wrong, and some of you guys have experiences. You may have had some bad experiences with suspension. In my experience hiking with internal frame packs, and I've done a few, not a ton of models, but they've all been pretty good, at least from Mountainsmith and Kelty. That was my other brand that I tried. And there was another one I forget way back when. So that's the suspension, very comfortable in the Mountainsmith Expanse. Durability and materials. Talked about the toughness of the pack cloth. And again, we see the super high quality nylon webbing. Remember I talked to this in the large external frame review? Very smooth and nap. It won't shred on you and fuzz up like cheaper backpacks nylon webbing does. Look for this. This is a good indication of quality. Look for a very thick and heavy pack cloth with a super sheen on it. See that shine? That's an indication of quality in my experience. And you can just feel the thickness. And if you go inside and look on the inside of it, you'll see that it's heavy polyurethane coated for waterproofness. Just superior. Mountainsmith products all the way around offer outstanding quality. I have never seen anybody that beats them in the quality department. I've seen guys that are companies that beat them in the weight department, but sometimes, like I told you in my other videos, if you go for super light, you may trade off some durability, and your pack cloth can cut and shred easily. You might even have some other busted parts. Lashing capability, I already talked about that. It's minimal. Function of the design. Track record and warranty, how is it? Well, I've never had a need to use a Mountainsmith warranty, to be honest with you. And like I said, Kelty's is good. I think pretty much all the major manufacturers will back their products up 100%. And I really wouldn't sweat it. If you had a problem with a Kelty, a North Face, a Gregory, a Go Light pack, and you told them, I'd be ultra surprised if they just did not do the right thing and hook you up. Now, that might be very little consolation when you're 20 miles into some very high country, when your backpack decides to take a dump on you and fail. And that's why you research your materials or your equipment as best you can, just like you're doing by watching this video, and buy smart. And that's your best insurance to avoid that. Now, every manufacturer can have its blips. I told you that about Kelty, but by and large, these manufacturers get it right. So I will say the Mountainsmith warranty and track record is outstanding, and that's my reference backpack, this Expanse. I really can't speak with a ton of authority on other brands. Enough said on that. Price. Why is it that internal frame, large variety backpacks are so freaking expensive? They are way expensive. It's because it gets back to that gear elitism thing. Hey man, this is a cool pack, and because it's so cool, dude, we're going to just charge you a lot. Trust me, it's worth it. This is what cool people backpack with. You know, I've been in gear stores before, listening to what the gear people say to people shopping for backpacks, and I just want to intervene. I was like, dude, I should work at REI. I was like, you know what? What he's telling you is completely wrong. He's telling someone who's never backpacked before in their life that they need to have an internal frame backpack. And he's selling them like a $400 model. I mean, I'm just sitting there gritting my teeth going, goodness gracious, guy. And then right beside that poor lady is a nice external frame pack that would serve her a lot better. So, yeah, gear elitism and a lot of misinformation about internal frames. But back to the price, this one cost me $250. I got 10% off of that on a sale. So to me, that's expensive. I'm a high value type guy. Yeah, I've got some cool gear, but I rarely buy it for full price. That's how chumps buy, full price. You know, and even this $250 pack, I mean, I was cringing. I was like, God, that's a lot of money. But 10% off, I guess I can do that. And I got it where you see. So, yeah, it's kind of pricey. It's almost double the price of an external frame in most indications, in most places. Now, that being said, you can probably get a pack along this order for around $170. Just shop around, look for sales. I might do some on-screen perishable presentations. Well, by perishable, I mean there'll be a capture in time, and I'll show you places that have sales on backpacks if you're in the market for them. And that's how you need to shop. You shop before you need. In other words, you're like, you know what, I need an internal frame pack. And then you start shopping the website. See what pops up over a period of maybe months. And then get ready to pull the trigger on that good deal when you see it. REI Outlet.com is a good place to go. Campmore.com has some great sales. SummitHut.com sometimes has some really good packs for reasonable prices. But this is the Mountainsmith Expanse large size internal frame pack. I probably forgot to say some things. I may add some annotations as time goes by. But I love these zipper pulls, by the way. Thinking of things I forgot. Those are great. That's a Mountainsmith thing. They add just a little bit more weight, but man, they make it nice. And I do love this pocket too. It holds a lot. I just wish it had bigger pockets on the side. But as far as large internal frame packs go, this rocks. I'm super pleased with it. I'll never sell it. And yes, there are times when an internal frame pack is the way you're just going to have to go. Your outing and where you're going is going to dictate that choice for you, and subsequently it's going to dictate what kind of gear you can take. And you're probably going to have to pare down your load to make it all fit and be balanced. That's it. Hey, I did it in 2 parts. The internal frame, nothing fancy. Thanks for the good ratings. Thanks for the subscriptions. I really thank you guys a lot for that. I won't do it without you. Signing off. This is Nothing Fancy. I'll have more vids coming your way. Hopefully you'll dig them. See ya.